Hello walkers, and welcome to Greeley, Colorado. It is late February, about 11:30 a.m., 30 degrees Fahrenheit and -2 degrees Celsius. It is a beautiful day here in Greeley, which I've often heard about, but never actually been downtown, and I'm really impressed. This is the Weld County Courthouse, as you can see. It's a fairly robust building. Very impressive, almost unbelievable that it's a county building. Really impressive. We're starting here at the corner of 9th Street and 9th Avenue, and we're just going to kind of wander around. There's a lot to see here. It's a really cool, expansive downtown, I think. I just took a quick tour in the vehicle before I came and parked and started this walk. So let's start off with, my name is Henry. I will be your proxy walker today, your virtual travel guide. And I want to thank you for joining us. Leave us a comment. I love comments. It's one of my things I always talk about in these videos, is how much I enjoy those comments, hearing from you guys, criticisms, corrections, anything that's constructive and helpful to make this channel better. I also love hearing your personal stories and your progress and what's going on with you. So anyway, I was gonna move on to something else. Oh yeah, comment, subscribe, hit that bell notification to get notified of new videos, and like the video. That helps me with YouTube algorithm to be promoted to other deals, and like that. So I usually start out with, hit us up on Instagram under City Walks, and Twitter under Walk City, and Facebook under City Walks. We try to post, I post my original photos on Instagram from places, often places that I haven't walked or filmed walking. So you might check those out. And then I also, on Twitter and YouTube, I will often post my own walks, but also post walks from other channels that I enjoy and that I found on YouTube. So check those out. Greeley is a cool town. I used to live in Denver for about, 18 months, not long. And I drive on 25 and see signs for Greeley. And certainly there's some feedlots, I believe to the north, that are very noticeable when you drive down 25 just from the smell. I can't smell them right now, so maybe they are not anywhere near Greeley, and I just was misunderstanding that whole thing. We're going to go by the Weld Centennial Center here as we go down 10th Avenue. Anyway, so I'd heard about it. Thought it was more of a cattle town, which I think for a long time it was. It's an agricultural center. So let's start at the beginning. Well, not the beginning, but the beginning of Greeley. 1870s, I think. It was named for Horace Greeley. I believe it was a stop on the Union Pacific Railroad. Correct me if I'm wrong. It was actually started as the Union Colony, which was a utopian colony based on temperance and community and that sort of thing. It's in the Wikipedia article. It's really pretty cool to think about, and it's got a population of about 110,000 people. It's the home of the University of Northern Colorado, which was renamed in the 60s, I think. And James Michener actually went to school there in the teaching college. He wrote Lonesome Dove. He wrote No, he did he? Not James Michener. That's somebody else. Oh, now I feel silly. He definitely wrote Centennial and Alaska. He didn't write Lonesome Dove. I'm going to have to look that up because I loved that book, the whole series of books, Lonesome Dove and Streets of Laredo, and that the author was Texan, and I cannot remember his name. Anyway, James Michener also wrote a bunch of great books, including Chesapeake, which was one of my favorites growing up, and Centennial, which is about the settlement of Colorado, fictionalized, but with a lot of historical info. Well, I don't want the sidewalk to be closed. We'll just go through the Weld Centennial Center. So that's interesting. And then what else? It's out here on the plains, the high plains of Colorado, not far from the Front Range. It took me about a half an hour to get over here from Loveland, Fort Collins area. There's a breeze channeling through here. Hopefully the microphone doesn't pick up too much of it. Back towards the courthouse here, and we'll find another way. We have an absolutely beautiful day, despite that little breeze. I mentioned it's 30 degrees here, but in the sunlight and with wearing a decent jacket, which isn't that thick, it's just a lightweight puffy and a little mid-layer sweater type thing, I'm feeling good. I'm trying to sniff out some cattle scent, but I'm not getting it. So that's good. There is a lot of industrial looking capacity to the east that we will most likely get to once I take us around through this older section as we get back to 9th. And that's down by the railroad, or the former railroad. There's obviously a lot of governmental stuff down here. Weld County is a very, I guess it's fairly populous. There's a public works administration. But down here it's got these old Western style buildings. Love these brick facades and just the architecture, so reminiscent of the Old West. Of course, old being relative. And you can see this is kind of the edge of it. But we'll get down and we'll go this way. And I'm just going to walk kind of down the center of this parking area because I can. It is a Friday morning, and honestly, I'm a bit surprised at how not busy it is here. I'm sure the COVID situation is affecting where people work, but still I would think there would be more stuff going on down here on a weekday. It's not a holiday, so that I know of. This is just a really massive building here. It's almost federal in scope, like something you'd see in DC or maybe one of the big cities in Europe. Got a barber shop and a popcorn shop. A little regret I'm having for not wearing my hat as the breeze picks up. There's a kind of old core here, and then it's surrounded by hotels and some modern buildings to the north and to the west. And then, but to the south, there are more of a neighborhood feel, this older center. And then to the east, as I mentioned, it's a little more industrial. We're going to get into some of one of my favorite things here is restaurants that push and bars that push music out into the public space. That's the Rio Grande as we go down 9th Street here. Looks like they're putting up some stuff to have outdoor dining. They have, like much of the country, their numbers are going down, and I believe they've been, I'm going to go out here to the roadway. They're allowed in-person dining now, but I think there are a lot of restrictions around that. At the coffee shop, I saw that they wanted you to sign in. There was an app. You could sign in so that the health department had an idea of how many people were coming into the coffee shop and sitting down so they could have in-person dining. I haven't seen that before. But, you know, you do what you can to keep people safe and keep businesses open. Love these old buildings. It looks like in the before times and hopefully in the after times, this seems like a pretty happening area. Pretty cool place to come hang out. There's Moxie, Luna's, Tacos and Taqueria, Greely Unexpected. I guess the Northern Colorado mascot is the Bears. There's some Indian and Nepali cuisine. We'll just go down here and loop around and come back as well. I like seeing these buildings and restaurants and stuff. See what's down here. Patrick's Irish Pub. Got some outdoor seating going. Oh, I like that toboggan. Surprised somebody hasn't nicked it. Here's some public parking for downtown Greeley. I didn't find that. There was absolutely no problem finding parking, unlike up by the university in Fort Collins. Totally my issue there. And that I didn't do my research. We're gonna, as I said, loop back the way we came. Cool mural. Kind of a pointillist mural, but with large points. I like it. Oh, one of the things I want to say is we'll give you a look down 8th Ave here towards the south as we cross over eventually. And obviously there is some more to be seen down there, but there's a lot up here too, so I'm going to stay up here for a while. And you can look back to the north. As we wait patiently, not really patiently, but we wait for the light to change here. Here we go. Coming up, y'all. Shucks. I think I should have pushed a button. Anyway, we're gonna make this happen. You can see the 8th Avenue that way. You can also see up 10th Street here, more of these older buildings. We're just exploring. That's one of the things I do on this channel is, I know it would be probably more useful for you guys to have an expert tour guide who's done all the research and all the interesting tidbits and knows exactly where to go, but I like to take you out and explore. I like to discover, and so I am happy to have you join me on that exploration. Sometimes that means doubling back, sometimes that I take wrong streets, and sometimes I totally get things wrong. I did one in London one time, and there's the Gherkin building, which I thought was the headquarters for Scotland Yard, and it was absolutely not that. Oh, the smell from Sherpa Grill are amazing. It smells so good. I don't know if you like Indian food. I do. And that is lovely. There's a lot of sculpture in Colorado and in Wyoming. I love it. I think that's so cool. This is 9th Street again. So we make our way across. That is the Cress Cinema building over there. Very cool. I don't think they're showing movies currently because of, well, we know why. But it's a cool building. It looks like they probably have movies at other times. You can look back up 9th Street the way we came down earlier. Some great restaurants and other buildings up there. Surprise, surprise. Got the light. Ooh. Doug's Diner. You had me at Belgian waffles. Of course, Wells Fargo across the way seems to be a pretty big Western bank. I think they have them back east, but I don't really remember them being prominent. But I haven't been back there for a while, so I don't know. This cool cinema building. Look at this mural. I love a good alley. That's pretty sweet. Maybe we'll loop back that way. Some good stuff back in here. It's funny, I get some looks sometimes from people as I walk around with this silly camera contraption. As you can kind of see, its reflection right there. Some people honk, some people wave. I always think about it. When I would see people with these cameras before I started this channel, I sort of holier than thou. Who do they think's going to watch that stuff? But having started this channel and read all the wonderful comments and some of the not so wonderful comments, I can see that these things have a lot of value to people, and I am so glad that they do, because that's a cool building. Because it means I get to come out and film these walks, and you guys get to come along with me. Very cool. The Kiva Theater condominiums. Can only imagine what this place must have been like 100 years ago. Raucous, I'm sure. Got the conservatory building, and then there's a tap house over there of some sort. Oh, this is cool. The 8th Street Plaza. This goes back to the alley, but there's a lot of cool, this looks like stained glass almost. And then some murals in there. You know what, we're gonna go down here and then we'll come back down that alley just as advertised. But we're gonna take our time because I want you guys to see these. There's a mix of contemporary and historical imagery. And it looks like maybe women's history or women's based, and some jazz playing over the top. It's kind of this cool idea. I hope I don't get triggered on the whole YouTube copyright situation there. As always, I might drop in some music over the top of that. I got to do that with Casper. There was so much music playing. I would say that there is a musical theme to this area. Oh, well, we'll go down here and then double back because I love these alleys. So cool. So less glossy and refined compared to, I'll go one way and then the other. The fronts of the buildings, you know, the client-facing sides, but people have taken time to decorate and make these look cool. Even the gas pipes are painted, which reminds me a little bit of, I forget what the name of the alley in Boise, but it's decorated similar to this, but I don't know if it's as much. Did I tell you there's 110,000 people here? I think that might be bigger than Boise. Maybe not anymore. Boise's grown a lot. But it's a cool town. I love how much work these murals must have taken, and the fact that people put that much work in here. It's the back of the Rio Grande Mexican restaurant. Can't even see. This is the back of Lonesome Buck Brewing Company. And here we go. This is definitely music themed here. Oh, there's a little puppy dog. A couple of them. Hi there. Well, now we're getting into some serious ice. All right, back to 10th Street. And we're gonna make a left here. And here's that mural we saw just a little bit ago. And we're gonna go, I think down 8th Street is the one I wanna go down. And that's got the music playing. Everybody feels like they have to play. All right, I'm gonna stop whining about that, if only briefly. Across the way is Aunt Helen's Coffee House. And it's cool enough that I am wishing I could go in there. I'll go in there maybe on the way back. Although, what I really want is a donut. There is something special, or not special, but unique, particular about the light out here in central Colorado, in my opinion. Especially in winter. Let's hope we can cross over here. Very much like to. But I'm gonna have to wait. Oh, here we go. I got the light now. You can see there's a fair amount of industrial production to the north as well. I don't think we're going to get over there, but we are going to get down here to the east. cold in the shadow. And I'm actually going to come out here onto the traffic area. Whoa! Traffic area. You got to be limber if you're going to walk around in these icy places, because I want to show you this this building just because it's kind of cool. I don't really know anything about architecture, or not much, but I like these old buildings. It's the Greely Museum, apparently. I like it. I like this awning. Reminds me a little bit of Paris, fin de siècle kind of stuff. Throw that word out there like I know what it means, but I mean, I know it means the end of the century, but artistically, I really don't know anything about it. This is cool too, these ceramic murals here. I like these. Charles Hanson, Josephine Jones, and Alvin Garcia, left to right. Like that. Of course, this old building out by its lonesome. So, I think what I'm going to do is, I'm tempted to walk that way. You can see old grain elevators and current grain elevators, the railroad tracks, a lot of sort of industrial stuff, but we have some over here too. It's a long way to go to see some grain elevators. So we're going to come down here. Northern Colorado Crematory. We will take a pass on for now. Guess we'll end up there eventually. Metaphorically speaking. And we're going to go down and make a right. We'll go down here by the railroad. There is, I mentioned the agricultural history and some of the cattle production. There is a massive, I think it's called JBL meat processing plant that is, I still think it's still here. You know, and Colorado is a big cattle producing state. I don't want to go down these tracks, but I also don't want to get stuck on the wrong side of this fence. We'll find a happy medium. There's nothing more to that story. I just was telling you about the meat processor and cattle processing. For those of you who are not familiar with Colorado's geography, it's pretty dry. I think Denver has something like 300 days of sunshine a year. To the east is high plains. The Platte River flows east, and to the west are the Rocky Mountains. And the highest section of Rocky Mountains in the U.S., a lot of 14ers, 14,000 foot peaks. And this is the old railroad depot, now the Chamber of Commerce, I believe. Excuse me. And then on the other side of the mountains is a little bit of Colorado, and it gets really dry on the Utah side. This is very cool. Union Pacific system. This old stonework. Love it. And in between is a lot of snow this time of year in the mountains. And I'm hoping to get up and walk around some ski resorts for you, at least the base areas. I'm not going to go skiing. My legs are not in shape for that, nor is my pocketbook. Ooh, Colorado Model Museum. Like it. I'm going to have to do a little more research on that. You got the Ruby Farms silos. I like the steel signage there. It's a strange cow skull. I don't know what's going on with that exactly. And then some pistols on the right. with some text I can't read. Still pretty cool. And then Trinidad Bean and Elevator Company. That looks pretty old. Not sure they're still in business. I'd be a little surprised. But you know what? We might go down there and find out, by golly. I smell something sweet, like candy, like jelly beans. I wonder if Trinidad Bean and Elevator Company makes jelly beans. I don't think so. Hi there. Straight ahead at 680, I think that's 10th Street, is the Colorado Model Railroad Museum. That is someplace I would definitely go into if I had the time, and if I had some kids to go with me. I'm not the type that would build a model railroad or a railroad model, but I love seeing them. I think they're super fun. This looks like an old building that's being rehabbed, and I'm interested to figure out what it might have been or might be intended for. I'm guessing maybe, looks almost residential, but might be something else. D&D Bean Company. We're gonna go over here just because I want to see these ornate metal doors, and then we might, we're definitely going to tuck back down in here this neighborhood and see that. Looks like an old shipping or loading dock. But look at these cool doors. Love some good metal work. Looks like an old scale here. Like this awning too. That would be pretty cool for some outdoor seating at a restaurant or something. Coming up on Cintas. I think they do facility services. They used to do uniforms. You can see down here, this is 6th Avenue. Some more train cars down there. I can't go on every single street and every single nook and cranny as much as I'd like to. So sometimes I walk past a place and I look down, I see something that might have been pretty cool, but also maybe not fully worth a detour. And so that makes me a little sad inside. Just kidding, of course. But you can see the light that I was talking about a while ago. It just seems kind of distinct to me. And the colors of the trees and the leaves, just very reminiscent to me of central and eastern Colorado. When you get into the mountains, especially in the summer, there is they are big mountains. I don't know how to say it. And a lot of great exposed rocks and cool geology and geography over there. Very fun to do, to explore. Lots of activities, lots of people though. We came down to Rocky Mountain National Park 10 years ago. Kids were little. And this is 5th Avenue, and we're gonna make a left here and see what's down here. To visit some family and meet up with some family, rather, and hang out and see the park. And it was busy. And it's the park itself is not massive, like Yellowstone. It's big, but it's not massive. And you know, you have to take shuttle buses around between parking lots, and there's tons of people on the trails, and certain trails. And it was not the magical natural experience in places that I would have liked, although we did find some trails where there was almost nobody else out. And we got to see some nice nature and have some quiet. Not what these dogs are all about, though. They're going to bark at us. I feel like maybe I'm not welcome there. Magnolia Field. I assume that's some sort of garden center, maybe? I don't know. Be interesting to learn. Looks like a cool place to live. Love this fence. Must have been. Oh, look at the window bars. Shush, 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 shush. Super ornate. I love that. It's beautiful. I was going to say it must have been expensive, but I'm guessing that this might be a welding shop of some sort. Magnolia Field. Good, how are you?
Yeah, that's a cool stick you got there.
Oh, thanks. It's a vertical axis stabilizer.
That's really cool.
Thanks.
What you recording for?
I have a YouTube channel called City Walks.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Cheers. I always mean, when people ask about it, I always mean to mention the channel name, and then I always forget. Or maybe I get a little self-conscious. And then I don't. It's like kind of a fun place. There's some swing sets and slides. And really loud dog, of course. Kind of a neat little area right downtown. I'd say it's primed for gentrification. I mean, he's driving a Mercedes, so maybe it's already been gentrified. Oh, look, and we get to see the train cars too. Lucky you guys. And me. I feel like maybe this extends out here, this Magnolia Fields. Look at the train cars. Looks like a log. And that's, you only have logs like that if you're gonna use them for a craft of some sort, in my opinion. Could totally be wrong. But curious as to why they would have these train cars here, or if they're being used for anything. Hate for them to go to waste. I didn't mention that we are back on 6th Avenue and coming up on 8th Street. Magnolia River Manufacturing. There's a lot of steel in this fence. Up here, we're almost back to the museum that we talked about. But somewhere over here that I wanted to show you guys is a really cool mural, and this isn't where it is. Rats. Well, let's cut across. Take some shortcuts. What do you say? You too. I like friendly people. All right, this is 7th Avenue. The museum is off to our left, and we're going to go to the right and see some of these other industrialized or industrial looking buildings, and hopefully find the giant mural that I saw earlier. So I hope you'll bear with me. Crossover. Some old indoor storage, old buildings used for indoor storage. Now, hopefully, we get run over. A pretty cool old place. It really is quiet here. Or it has been this morning. Yeah, I think this is it. Yeah. Well, not as cool as I thought it was. No, it is cool. It says courage on it. I love it. And it's got a girl with some binoculars looking at the stars. Very cool. All right, so you guys should have some courage in our trying times. And you should come back and see me again soon, because we're going to wrap this bad boy up and call it good. Thanks for joining us here in Greeley, Colorado. I think that gives us about 45 minutes. Right kind of around the time I like to roll. Looks like a cool mural over there too. Lots of great public art here. I'm loving it. I'm loving Greeley, Colorado. Thanks for joining us on this sunny winter day in February. I hope you'll come back and see us again soon. Click the subscribe button and hit the bell to get notified when we release new videos. And come back next time. We'll see you then. Until then, keep on stepping.